Everything you know about building SwiftUI apps changed while I was away. It's been over a year, and the gap between coding and engineering has never been wider. I'm Pouya, and you are watching Pouya Sadri Dev. Today, we aren't just coding, we are leading a team. We are shifting from manual implementation to agentic development. I'm going to show you how to use GitHub Copilot agent mode to refactor a 2024 currency converter into a 2026 powerhouse. But here's the catch. The AI is only as good as the developer leading it. We are going to master the observation fundamentals first so you stay in the driver's seat. Before we delete the legacy code and boost our performance by 45%, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. You don't want to miss this 2026 Refactor series. Ready? Let's get to work. Back in 2024, I taught you how to build this, a real-world currency converter. It was our modern approach at the time, using the ObservableObject pattern and published properties. It worked, but by today's standards, it's legacy code. It's heavy, it's noisy, and as you are about to see, it's a nightmare performance. Why is the old way a problem? We call it the noisy UI. In 2024, whenever one variable changed, the entire view tree was forced to re-render. Look at this Xcode instrument trace of that old code. See that wall of orange? That's 145 separate view updates, triggered by typing a single digit. We are spending over 300 milliseconds of CPU time just to refresh a text field. That's a performance depth we are clearing today. But before we prompt our agent, we need to understand the cure, the observable pattern. Unlike the old way, this uses access tracking. SwiftUI now knows exactly which property your view is looking at. If it's not on the screen, it's not re-rendering. It's surgical, it's zero boilerplate, and it's the perfect structure for an AI agent to work with. Now let's bring our senior assistant, GitHub Copilot agent mode. Watch the workflow. I'm not just asking it to fix code. I'm giving it a specific architectural mandate. So first thing first, you have to install the Xcode extension for GitHub Copilot on your system. They have this nice GitHub repo. I will leave the link in the description. You can find it. And they have a detailed README here. And here you can get it started. You can install it via Brew, or you can just download the DMG file and install it directly on your system. So go ahead and pause the video and install it. And whenever it's installed, come back to the video and watch the rest. After installing GitHub Copilot extension for Xcode, I just want to clone my GitHub project here, currency converter. I leave the link below in the description for you that you can clone it. So I just clone it, git clone, this URL. Okay, rmrf currency converter app, and then just hit clone. So I want to open it, so I change the directory to it. Currency converter app, and just open currency.xcode project, and it opens up the Xcode for me. Yep, here we go. And here I just open the chat here, and I just allow it. So a pro tip here that you can use. I just opened this GitHub Copilot setting, and here we have the setting. You can change them. And I just want to tell you in tools, MCP, just make sure that Xcode MCP server connected. That's enable richer editor integration. So let me just open a new chat here. And here, let me show you the problem. In our currency converter view model, we use observable object and publish variables. The problem is that we have all these publish variables, and we say that, okay, keep track of these variables, these properties, and whenever they change, our view changes. So let me just show the view here. We have a state object here. And as you can see, we bind the amount here, the base currency, and so on and so forth. We have a lot of binding here. So now, for example, in this view, we have a slider to selecting the number of decimal places in the result. So if the user change the decimal places, the whole view re-renders. As you can think, we have so many variables, and if any of them changes, the view re-renders. And you can, let me show you the trace here. It's open up. Yep. Here we go. I have a recording here. So in SwiftUI, as you can see, we have 145 re-renders just for typing a digit and changing the slider value for precising the number in the result. As you can see, in the this wall of orange is re-renders, and you can see the CPU usage is so much. And here we go. Okay, we want to change it. So here is my prompt here. I choose here plan. And I change it from agent to plan. So analyze the current data flow in this project. I am using the legacy observable object pattern. Please identify all published properties and provide a step-by-step plan to migrate this project to the SwiftUI observable framework. So as you can see, I am very precise with my agent. Let me just open up some space here. Okay, I just send it and wait for the result. So as you can see, the plan is here. It has some details, the steps, the further consideration that you can choose from and start implementing. But I like to be precise with it. Just wanting to know, it uses GPT 5.3 codecs, but because I use the auto model here, that the Copilot automatically selects the most suitable model for us based on our prompt, but you can use any other models. So here I change it to agentic mode, that the agent have the context of our project. So I just copy and paste it. Refactor the view model using the observable macro. Remove observable object and published. Then update content view to support these changes. Ensure that you use the bindable wrapper. Here is the key. You you guide the agent to use your knowledge, to use the most suitable architecture or fundamental that you know to get the best result. In the view for any properties tied to text field or sliders, keep the project in a buildable state so that there is no error. So just there is one slide. Let me just attach the content. View Swift. So I just say content view.swift. So I hit enter and we will see the result in the moment. So it's starting to generate a plan. So here's the steps it would take. And for further consideration, you can also ask him to do further consideration for you. So the plan is completed now. And then it generate the code here. Let me just take. Okay, now we can see it uses the observable object here. It import observable observation package here. And yep, let me just show you the differences here. Okay, diff view. And let me just make some space here. As you can see, it will remove observable object and just use observable macro and delete all published variables and use just the variables, variable define basic definition of variables. So I just keep it. Okay. And in the content view, also it get rid of a state object here and just use state. And we have a bindable here, bindable view model. And instead of state object, it use bindable view model here in all places. So, okay, I'm gonna keep that. And okay, done. And here, do you want to allow the external MCP tool Xcode list windows to run? Allow it. So it asks me to Xcode build project, allow it. I want to build it. So as you can see, it's building right now and build succeed here. So we don't have any errors here. And what changed in the currency, oops, in the currency converter app view model, currency converter view model, added import observation, added observable to currency converter, remove observable object, and remove all published wrappers. And properties are now plain var. And here we go. And just to make sure, I just want to give it a new, let me just add the content view here. Okay. So we attached two files here, currency converter view model and content view. And then review the content view body, ensure that we are utilizing the observation framework granular tracking to minimize unnecessary view updates. If any subviews are still rendering needlessly, suggest a way to isolate them. So I hit enter. So it suggests us to make subviews. Our current view is long, and we can create components and subviews to use it. And let's extract selection that observe only the state they need. For example, amount input selection, currency picker section, and so on and so forth. So that said, this is us. This is the performance. Let me show you. I recorded before, and here we go. As you can see in the SwiftUI, we have just 79, and in the time performance, it generally enhance the CPU time. So that's it. And look at the result. We've deleted the combined imports and published noise. The code is cleaner, but the data is what matters. We went from 145 updates down to 79. This is a 45 reduction in UI workload. The wall of orange is gone and our CPU finally resting. We've modernized the structure and fixed the UI redundancy. But if you look closely at our new trace, we still have those red hangs. Our UI is fast, but our concurrency is still stuck in the past. We have the surgical precision of observation, but we don't have the safety of Swift 6 actors yet. That's the tackling in part 2. We are going to make this app truly crash-proof and thread-safe. If you learned something today, smash that like button. It helps the channel more than you know. Comment part 2 below if you are ready to master Swift 6 concurrency. I'm Pouya, and I'll see you in the next one.